I think we're live. So, hi all, welcome to the episode 12 of the Allaboutfpl podcast or stream. I'm your host Aditya, and I have my two panelists for today. That's FPL Reborn Suresh and Surya from All About FPL. Well, I think the international break is finally coming to an end, and a much needed one break for most of us. Game week 8 wildcarders have done their part. Now it's time for the guys who are wildcarding in game week 9. And yeah, this stream is all about talking about the wildcard for this specific week, the players to pick, the fixture swings, whether to wildcard this game week or to wildcard somewhere around game week 12 when both are still at City blank. So that's what we're going to cover in a bit. And yeah, more or less see the players to pick and the fixture swing. So we'll go to the next slide. That's basically a talking points. Is what basically I spoke. We'll be looking at the wildcard drafts, the fixtures till the World Cup break, and the fixture swings, the players to target, the drafts, and all those things. And yeah, so these are the transfer trends. Basically, we'll know based on the trends who the players are going for, the managers are going for. And as we see, template picks are there more or less. William Saliba is a surprising one. I don't know why, but the rest all are more or less the template wildcard picks, pairing Hyun-Min Son based on his quick 15-minute hat trick. Most of us got those wildcard in game week and went for Kane instead of Son because I think one of the Spurs account said that he's benched. Yeah, he was benched, but who expected Son to just go and blast? So yeah, I think that was a very surprising thing. I think the rest all look pretty much the template wildcard picks with the list,
Saliba is
which is
probably back of his double-digit return, I guess.
yeah.
Yeah,
So that's
I
kind
think
of
Mitrovic. Yeah, sorry.
yeah. Go on, Surya. You're saying something.
No, no, no. I was saying Harry Kane is definitely a surprising option there, by the fact they have a bit of a tricky run of fixtures. But I believe probably those that would be the managers that went for a 3 million model, or probably even without Salah, or a couple of 8 million mids in the midfield, and probably Kane and Haaland both up front. Kane generally does well in the big games, in the North London Derby specifically. So that's not a bad transfer in at all. And the others, I think it speaks for themselves. Saliba, I think it's because of the goal and
Mhm.
his form. So I'm not sure about the reasoning there, but the rest are, I think, pretty much in our wildcard drafts too, in mine and Suresh as well. Yeah, yes,
So
True.
the next one is obviously transfer out. Robert
yes,
Sanchez, yes. Yeah, the fixture's taking a turn a bit for the next couple of weeks. They opened a new manager. We'll have to see how they play. Trent,
yeah,
I mean, obviously, bulk of Liverpool players are being sold out because of the tough run. Obviously,
yes,
Trent, Salah, Luis Diaz, you'll have all those players up in the list. Rashford,
yes,
yes, he was out injured, but he's probably back. But United play the Manchester Derby. After
yeah,
that, probably we can get him in. Gross is the same, the Brighton thing. Jesus is
yeah.
because to facilitate the movement of players here and there. Also, he's currently on 4 yellow cards, one card away from suspension.
I'm
And
surprised to see
lastly,
Mitrovic on the both the
Yeah, yes.
trends.
Yeah.
I'm wondering who's selling Mitrovic at this rate.
I think that was the injury rumor, probably from the midweek game.
Oh yeah.
So it should be there, maybe. Yeah, but still weird to see that. I think that blocked the price change as well for Mitrovic, and
True.
the managers trying to gain value there. But yeah, yes, that should be the reasoning. Yeah. Yes.
so we'll go to the next segment that's basically looking at the next couple of games. That's the schedule, what we have right in front of us. And
Yeah.
yes, this is a very fixture congestive period. We have the League Cup also joining up in the midweek with the European competitions here and there.
Yeah.
So most of the top 6, 7 clubs will be tied up with that, along with the League Cup games occasionally in the blank weeks whenever they don't have European competitions.
Yeah.
So yeah, Surya, can you take us through this? What
Yeah.
is up on
So
our screen?
why I did this was basically to give all the wildcarders and even the managers that are not wildcarding a bit of a clarity on how the fixtures are in the next few weeks. There's tremendous amount of games to be played. Basically, there is no midweek for most of the big six, except for Man City when they get the midweek break from the postponement in game week 12. And there is also the EFL Cup, which has 19 teams playing, except for Fulham, who are out in the second round. So Fulham are the team with the maximum rest, so they have 5 midweeks free, and there are 6 teams that have no midweeks free. So why I wanted to reiterate this was the fact that while planning a wild card, making sure the bench place is going to be crucial because there's going to be massive amount of rotations. All the CL groups have been tight as well this season, so except for Man City barring. So there could be rotations there. So it's always wise to have those bench ready if needed. So as you can see, just an order from 0 to the maximum number of weeks. So Arsenal, Spurs, United, Chelsea, Liverpool, West Ham, all of them have literally no midweek free. And this also adding to this, West Ham, United, and Arsenal play on Thursdays, which is another bit of a concern because the games then they play again in the
Some other
weekend in
weekends,
the
yeah.
Premier League. So it's going to be very tight with these teams, especially with a lot of managers that went with West Ham in the game week 8 wild card. So yeah, that's a bit of a clarity in this section. Yeah.
Yeah, so this is something that we all need to think through before we get in the bulk of players from the teams here and there. But yeah, I mean, we just have the next couple of game weeks in a row until the World Cup. So yeah, we're all
Yeah.
playing for one complete stretch and just hope that things go the way we
Yes.
wanted
Yes.
to go.
Yes.
So next,
Exactly.
one big thing now, those who are yet to activate and use a wildcard, in my case, where I am still resisting and I want to use it in game week 12 or 13, where City, Arsenal, both of them blank, and then it's easier to get the players for the last couple of weeks. So yeah, again,
Yeah.
Surya, over to you for this debate, the
Yeah.
crucial one.
So probably I'll convince you to wildcard this week after this. So the thought process was, yeah, because both of this game week 9 and game week 13 or even 12 is a good juncture to wildcard. Because a lot of people have already used in game week 8. The pros for wildcarding this week is that you can plan for a decent amount of weeks. So game week 9 to 16 is not a big period, but also a period that you can manage effectively. So you can also build a team with little of Arsenal and Man City assets, and also have a plan to bring them back in game week 13, because both these teams have a very good fixture turn in game week 13. And it's very important to have them back at the earliest, because both these teams have been playing really good. Game week 9 wildcard could also break the template, because there's a lot of teams that have good run of fixtures. For instance, Palace, Bournemouth, even for a shout, Everton, they all, even Leicester in terms of attack. Suresh will point a defense asset as well there. So yeah, so it's bit of a lot of few teams that have a good run of fixtures who are currently lowly owned amongst managers. So that could help you make those differential moves in terms of climbing the ranks. That's a bit about the pros of wildcarding. The cons, I would say, is that a few things that clearly came to my mind was Leeds, Brighton, and Palace have gone over a month without playing a Premier League game, because game week 7 was lost, and then game week 8 was lost. Yeah, so Zaha, could he be rusty? Maybe. Even in terms of Brighton, it's a new manager coming in. The same with Chelsea, they have not played a Premier League game under Potter yet, so we still don't know if Kepa's the keeper, if how Sterling is going to be operated in a Premier League game. And Liverpool assets, we have all moved them out in masses, but there is still this back of the head thinking that they are Liverpool assets. We know they how good of an FPL asset they are in terms of Salah and Trent. So, do you want one of them? Do you want two of them? Do you go bravely without them? Is something that you cannot answer confidently at this moment, because Salah is someone that plays really well against the big teams, and he scored even against the City freely. So you cannot say he's not a good player against the big team. So that's a bit about the cons. Suresh, what was your thinking of wildcarding in game week 9 rather than say hold it for game week 13 like Aditya?
Yeah, see, for me, it is the one of the most important pro I looked at is I want to maximize
Yeah.
the outcome of this.
Yes.
When
Yes.
you are going to let's say people are in a dilemma of wildcarding in 12 or 13, or even some are contemplating pushing it as late as even 15, or to try and utilize that 1 week, probably use a bench boost in 16. I've seen a
Yeah.
couple of these kind of experiments as well. But for
Yeah.
me, wildcard is a very powerful chip. You want to maximize the outcome of that. When
Yeah.
you are revitalizing your squad,
Yeah.
you have to have that buffer of 5 to 6 game weeks to, on an average, you want to improve your score. So that is
Yes.
one of the key aspects for me. So that gives me that time. From now on, we have seen considerable amount of games so far. We know which teams to target, probably from a
Yeah.
defensive perspective, as well as attack. Some there are managerial changes. We take these things into account. At the same time, be cautioned about how you structure your team. So for
Yeah.
me, these were the key things. I can probably, confidently say I can evade game week 12 blank, because
Yeah.
I'm not going to load up on City and Arsenal sets. I'll have a considerable amount and then try to navigate that with a
Yeah.
free transfer or a hit.
Yeah.
And probably I can, go on up until the World Cup break. So
Yeah.
I saw this as a very perfect slot, even not just now, probably as we all discussed at the very beginning of the season. This was a very sweet spot
Yeah.
to
Yeah.
hit the wild card button and
Yes.
revitalize the squad. So that was our main focus. There's
Yeah.
nothing right or wrong, as we
Yeah.
say. If your squad is really good, there is no need for you to break things down, or if you
Yeah.
have very less changes, if you're not it's not going to change overall structure, then
Yeah.
wildcard 13 is still not a bad idea. But for me, the only key factor was how do you maximize out of this. So that is the
Yeah.
primary factor.
Yes, yes. That's a brilliant summary of the Game Week 9 wildcard thought process. Regarding the Game Week 13 wildcard, it's again a team to team case. And before going talking about the Game Week 13 wildcard, there's been a few cases of people wanting to wildcard in Game Week 12 as well. Why Game Week 12 might be a problem is that you wouldn't be able to dead end your team into Game Week 12. That's one thing, and also the case that it's a midweek, so game week 12 happens to be a midweek, so the game start Tuesday, so you will not be able to hear a lot from the managers on the injury news, and there will be a huge amount of rotations happening that week, so you don't want to start your wildcard team with minimal information, so you always hope to maximize the information so that you take the best informed decision for your wild card. So that's one of the reasons I felt Game Week 12 might be a tricky place to play. Regarding Game Week 13, the pros of playing in Game Week 13 is that you can absolutely dead end your team into Game Week 12. That could give you help you manage your team freely without having to worry about bringing City and Arsenal assets back, because anyways you're going to bring them back using a wild card in Game Week 13. And it also gives you time to assess Liverpool assets. Frankly, now we still don't know if they'll bounce back at to the level they are known to in the last few seasons. So the next 3-4 games could be crucial. How they play against the big teams could pretty much define Liverpool season and also their importance in FPL. So you could take that time to be decisive. Regarding the implications of playing the wildcard so late, as Suresh pointed out, you would want the wildcard to maximize the benefits out of it because it's a powerful chip. And game week 13 to 16 is going to be a very short period. And to add to this, game week 16 is going to be a nightmare because most of the players that's going to the World Cup will be pulled out. There's been talks of Argentina already requesting Premier League teams to free their players from the game week 16 fixture. So that game week could pretty much be a write-off, as in it could be a very low-scoring FPL game week. So it gives you 13, 14, 15, just 3 game weeks to maximize the wildcard chip before everybody gets unlimited transfers. So which kind of feels a very short period to maximize such a powerful chip like wildcard. That's at least according to me. But anyways, it's going to be a case-to-case scenario. If you feel your team is close to the wildcard template that is from game week 9, then you can obviously prolong it to use it in game week 13. And there are also having spoken a little bit against the game week 13 wildcard, there are also nice set of swings there for those 3-4 game weeks period, which you can used to build your team, and also maybe you wouldn't need the bench that much for those 3-4 game weeks as you would need if you wildcard in game week 9. So you could probably go all out. That could be one strategy with your starting 11. So yeah, that's the thought process behind the 9 versus 12 versus 13 wildcard.
Yeah, so I would just say that the game week 13 World Cup is basically team dependent, as what we were
Yes,
saying. If you have almost half of your team consisting of the players that people are getting in for this particular game week, then I think you can get away with just using free transfers and
yeah,
getting rid of all the City and Arsenal players by game week 12 and then getting them back in. So
yeah,
again, it's team dependent and how you plan and how you approach. So it's the individual managers call at the end of the day what they want to do.
yeah.
So I think we've
And
kind
also
of
one
covered
more
up.
thing, when the international break started, I could see a lot of wildcard drafts without any Liverpool asserts. But as the deadline approaches, I see a lot of drafts with at least one of Salah or one of Trent. So that is coming back. So if you already have them and you have a decent enough team, the decision to push that is not, it's not really bad. In fact, yeah,
I think we gave people a lot of days to think of whether they
yeah,
want to go without Liverpool players, and they're getting scared and they're going back to one of them at
yeah,
least.
yeah,
So
yeah,
if the deadline was very quick, like how we had from 7, I mean 7 was not there, 8. People just went out of Liverpool's place straight away. Like
and
I don't
went
know,
with
I don't
Bowen
understand.
straight away. Yeah, so
Yeah. Now they're like, I want Salah, I may get Trent,
yeah.
I may keep
We
Diaz
don't
and all.
have a
So
choice. The fear factor gets back, right?
Yes, yes, yes,
Easily.
yes. And yeah, I
And
think Salah is someone that generally goes is determined to play well against the big team. So yeah, I'm not sure he'll go hiding against City or Chelsea. So yeah, you never know about Salah or Trent. They just need one good game to be back in business. Yeah. Yes.
so I think
just
we've
like what
covered a lot about this. Anything
the
else you want to add,
entire
Suresh?
confidence around.
I'm getting a
Sorry, Aditya.
delay. I'm getting a
Oh,
delay.
is it?
Is it only on my end
No,
that
no,
there is a
it's good. It's good. Yeah. So let's go on, go on. Yeah, it's
yeah?
perfect.
Yeah, I was just referring, just like what Sun did, right?
Yeah,
All it took him like 15 minutes of a cameo
yeah,
to get
yeah.
his confidence back.
Yes,
Probably
yes,
his game and the overall aspects would definitely improve going into North London derby as well.
yeah,
That's
yeah.
something which is key. So
Yes, yes.
these big game players, this big players need just one game to
One
get their
game. Yeah,
rhythm back and
yeah,
get going. And the
yeah.
Thiago factor, which I've been talking about
Yes,
in a lot of previous streams of ours as well.
yeah,
So Thiago is going to be back, so that's going to
yeah.
help them. So hopefully, yeah, we might probably have at least one. So that's going to
Yeah.
be interesting to see how. I'm waiting to see what game week 8 wildcarders are going to do now.
Yes,
They
yes,
had
yes.
a placeholder, whether they're going to stick with the plan or immediately going to jump off to the likes of Salah or something. That's something
Yeah,
we need to watch.
yeah. Perfect.
Just so let's move on to the next slide. Is basically the fixture ticker. We did cover up from 9 to 16 onwards. As we said, Arsenal and most of the top 6 teams have a tough run of games at the game week 12, and then 13 onwards it takes a dramatic turn. If you're going to wildcard in 13, you load up those players. It's the same that we covered even last in the last episode. That's right up on the screen.
Yeah,
And the next one is basically from 13 to 16 onwards that we did say, like Arsenal's fixture swing takes back in a good way. Same way with all the top 6 teams like Liverpool, City, United, and the other teams like Fulham, Newcastle. It goes back to
yeah,
where the rating gets difficult. So that's how your getting out queue starts from there.
yeah.
And yeah, so more or less this part and this segment is definitely done. We'll go on to the next, that is players to target. That's what is very much important. And yeah, these are the list of players that we have put down. There's even few numbers below the same slide. So the big
Yeah,
names are obviously Pope,
yeah,
Keita, because Palace's run of games gets better after the Chelsea game this week. Now,
yeah,
Asmir Begovic until Pickford is back.
yeah,
Kepa, in
Pickford is
case
back.
if he's the first choice, we need to wait and see.
yeah,
Obviously, Dean Henderson from Forest, and then we have obviously Raya and the other guys.
yeah.
So,
So
anything to add here?
I'll also add a bit about my goalkeeper choice in the wild card, and Suresh will do so that we'll have a continuity of the wild card draft that we'll reveal later. So I think Pope was a no-brainer for me. My thought process behind Pope was that Newcastle always scored less and also concede less. So it's the best situation for a goalkeeper. It was just like the scenario of Martinez a few seasons back. So whenever they keep a clean sheet, he's definitely in the bonus points for sure. So he's actually seventh amongst all players for BPS, and he's also had got a lot of bonus points already. He's got 6 bonus points amongst all, his highest amongst all goalkeepers. And he's also made the most number of saves, a joint most along with Raya. So he ticks pretty much every box that you would expect from a goalkeeper option in FPL. So yeah, my thought process was Nick Pope, even if they lose the clean sheet in a couple of tricky games against United and a few other big teams, it he's always going to be amongst the saves because Newcastle still concede a lot of low XG chances, and Nick Pope is a very good save specialist, I would say. So it bodes well. So I wouldn't be very scared about the potential of losing a double Newcastle's clean sheet because Pope could still give those points back through saves and bonus. Guetta is someone that came in my mind, but the fact that I spoke with a few Palace fans, and the fact that he's in the last year of contract, he's very old actually. He's not very old, but in the sense he's old, and his contract is ending, and Palace have good strength in the goalkeeping division. So you might not know if suddenly he gets replaced or he misses one or two games. That was the case all of last season as well. He missed one or two games here and there with niggles and slight minor injuries. So you don't want to be in a situation where your goalkeeper doesn't play, considering Iverson is most of the wildcard second goalkeeper. Yeah, regarding Kepa, I think you still don't know if he's the first choice Chelsea keeper. That's what I said as one of the cons for this wildcard in this game week. At 4.4, if we know he's the first choice, he's a very good option. Considering we don't have a lot of Chelsea options from the attack. Yeah, and Dean Henderson, yeah, I think he's decent, but yeah, I wouldn't personally go there. So yeah, Suresh, what's your thought process on the goalkeeper situation? Yeah,
Yeah, I think pretty much the first two options
yeah,
would be my go-to options as well.
yeah,
Probably Raya. Outside of this,
yeah,
I wouldn't even go anywhere near Kepa
yeah,
or someone like Begovic, because
yeah,
whenever Pickford is going to be back, he's going to come straight into the team. So
yeah,
Nick Pope, as
yeah,
you
yeah,
rightly mentioned, you know, he has faced a lot of saves. In fact,
yeah,
he's probably the third or the fourth most in terms of shots faced on target. So that gives him a lot of
yeah, yeah, yeah,
save points. But the one key
yeah,
aspect would be they faced quite a lot of the top teams. So
yeah,
there was a possibility of a lot of shots coming his way.
yeah,
But going forward from here on, the fixtures get a bit easy for Newcastle.
yeah,
So
yeah,
it's not that of attacking teams that Newcastle is going to face. So that's one little aspect that is putting me off, and the other one is
yeah,
primarily the double Newcastle defense that I'm a
yeah,
little bit
yeah,
worried because I already might have a Newcastle defender, so I don't want to double up on Nick Pope as well. It has
yeah,
both plus and minus. When things go right, yeah, obviously you come out of handful of points, but even a slightest of miss, then you are in for a 4 point together.
yeah,
So that's the sort of area which I kind of want to
yeah,
avoid. So, but top three, if you ask me, Nick Pope, Gaeta, and Raya. So that would be
yeah,
my options as well.
yeah. And the funny thing is that they play Fulham, and all of us, considering, would have Mitrovic and probably Andrews Pereira here and there. So it's
Exactly.
like double Newcastle defense with Mitrovic. So that's going to be a fun start to game week 9. Yeah. Srini is telling Pickford plus Begovic. Yeah. I didn't think
I
of
had
it.
that. No, I had that in one of the draft, but then
Uh-huh.
again, I didn't want to get that deep, and then probably I would have to find a way to get out of it, kind of a scenario. But that's a very valid suggestion what Srini is making. That
Yeah.
settles you two keepers whenever you need not worry about when Pickford is going to come back and take that
Yes,
position.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, yes.
that's a good option. One can consider that.
Yes, and Lampard has been traditionally known that he's not been able to set defense right, but they've been very defensively strong. They even kept a clean sheet against Liverpool, so that defense is kind of very back-to-back clean sheet as well. Against they didn't concede against West Ham too, so that's fairly definitely not a bad shout at all. Yeah, it's a bit of a maverick move there. And Pickford was supposed to come back just 1 or 2 game weeks after the international break as well, so he's not far away out, and Begovic should cover decently enough till then. So that's a valid combination as well, surely. Yeah.
Yes, so I think we've covered up goalkeepers, right? So let's
Yeah.
go on to the next segment. I think the ticker has not changed down; it's changed now finally. Yeah. So defenders, yeah, we have the same pretty much we have been including over the last few weeks
Pretty
also,
much,
No,
especially
no,
pretty
no,
much
no. That's
nothing
a
has
surprise.
changed.
That's definitely a surprise there.
yeah.
We'll
Just
come there.
we got rid of the West Ham defenders. We've added in Leicester defenders and Palace ones. Obviously, we had, and then we've got in Villa guys also. That's
Yeah.
Minks, Young, Augustinson, because Digne is probably out, and Cash
Yeah.
is also a touch and go. So that's where we
Yeah.
have kind of two different names there.
Yes, yes. So I'll probably go. I think Trippier is a bit of a continuation from what we spoke. For Pope, he's again someone that's capable of points outside clean sheet points. So he's a good enough attacker in terms of assist potential, and he's also a good bonus magnet. I think against Palace he had a it was a 0-0 and he came out with 2 bonus. So Trippier is also a good shout, but it is that question that needs to be answered whether is Trippier and Nick Pope or Newcastle defense double up worth the investment or not? Because if you obviously downgrade one of them, there could be cash in the bank that you can later use to bring in Trent. So that's the thought process behind me that I was constantly having while tinkering with my drafts. For now, I have both of them, but that could pretty much change as well because yeah, there are value in point 3, 4, and 5. Tyrick Mitchell comes in at 4 point. Gui comes in at 4.3. He's a good option there. Minks is 4.3. Could you trust Villa defense? You don't know, but could you trust them for a 4.3 slot? Maybe yes. Even to a case of Justin and Kestain, Justin is 4.3, Timothy is 4.4. So there are value there. You could save that bit there and potentially have it to upgrade to Trent later on. So that's my thought process there. Suresh, what was your thinking behind getting Castane, and what's your thoughts on the double up?
So for me, it is like I was looking at 4.5 or less than
Yeah,
4.5 category. I
yeah,
needed that slot, so I was looking at a bunch of options, and be it James Justin or Castagna. Uh,
yeah,
Looking at the fixtures as well as their numbers, what they are delivering so far. I know they've been conceding you know
lot of
hell
goals.
a lot of goals, but I'm looking at their attacking numbers. They
Yeah,
are
yeah,
pretty much on the top 1 to 3, let's say, in
yeah,
terms of the touches in the opponent area, touches in the
yeah,
final third, minutes
yeah,
per touches or crosses, and take any stand, they are pretty much on top of it. Let's say 1 to 3 or 1 to 4 categories. So given the fixtures, we all were expecting that there's going to be some sort of managerial change that is going to happen during
yeah,
the international break. Probably that's going to take the board is going to take some time to find a replacement and all that. But
yeah,
nothing seemed to have changed. So probably that's kind of putting me, I'm telling to myself probably that the board is ready to give some more time for Rogers to turn it around. And with
yeah,
a given the easy set of run of fixtures that they have, probably it would be a better choice to see it through until the break.
yeah,
With Rodgers itself, he knows the team. This team is still very much potential. It's not that it's a very bad team or something. So they are very much capable of delivering the output. So
yeah,
Castagna and Justin are someone I'm personally eyeing. I currently have Castagna. The apart from these the options that we have listed here, I would like to throw one more name, which is Kyle Walker Peters from Southampton.
Oh, interesting.
So he's another option at 4.5 if someone is considering both Kyle Walker Peters and Mikolenko as well from Everton.
Yeah,
So
yeah,
these two names also can be considered,
yeah, yeah,
reasonably from Walker Peters' perspective. He's pretty much on top, as I told,
yeah,
right
yeah,
on top with Justin and Castagna.
yeah,
But yeah, Trippier goes without a saying, as you mentioned. We pretty
yeah,
much most of us have even the game week 8 wildcarders
yeah,
had it. Reece James, probably most of us are with game week 9 wildcard. Probably want to settle him early, go get him and stuff.
yeah,
Other aspects, it depends on what is the price segment that you're looking in, and
yeah.
these are some of the really good options.
Purposefully, I left one name out of this list, United player, so that we'll have a little bit of banter while talking.
Now
So
everybody's coming to that player, right? The one
yeah,
which I said at the start of the season.
yeah, yeah.
I
So
know.
yeah, credits to Aditya for jumping on Dallo early. So he deserves one. So I'm giving him one credit, big credit for
I will
picking.
get him in my game week 13 wildcard for sure. That one
Yeah.
slot is for him
So
open.
he's wisely improved. I watched the Nations League game as well. He was really good. Pretty well taken goals. I think Ten Hag has improved the lad further. He's still young. He's has got a lot of potential. So at 4.5 million, I think he clearly outdoes every other player in that bracket in terms of potential, defensive and offensive. Just the fact that the fixtures are tight and also going with the congestion that we discussed a little bit earlier, I'm slightly concerned that there could be maybe a rotation here and there, or him losing the clean sheet more often in those next few weeks. But still, at 4.5 million, he's one of the most improved players, I would say, in the United lineup, and he's also the most advanced from defense. I read it somewhere. Malaysia has still not been able to carry forward the ball. He's efficiently carrying it forward, and that Anthony Dallo combination is also improving every day and every training. So that should be something that could add to Dallo's potential. Uh, yeah, he's still a very good asset at 4.5, regardless of the fixtures, I would say. Aditya, what's your thoughts on him? So, if you were on a wild card potentially, would you go for him other than the other 4.5 or below assets?
Well, I mean, if you're on a wild card, I think probably if you want to get him in, you'll have to ideally, I would say, maybe bench him for this week,
Yeah,
and then you can start playing him up because, yeah, I mean, United defensively have improved since we
yeah,
have Martinez and Varane playing, and even Malaysia is definitely a good shot. I'm not going to rule out that if we
yeah,
have Sancho go to the left,
yeah,
Martial is back. I think I'm not
yeah,
sure if he'll be straight away put in or he'll be
yeah,
slowly getting his place back up. But
yeah,
if we see Sancho, Martial, Anthony, then I think even Malaysia will start to improve on
yeah,
the left hand side either. In case you miss the price, let's say if Talo goes to 4.6, right?
yeah,
Malaysia
yeah,
is not a bad shot either for 4.5. Yeah. So United clean sheet, yes, it has improved, and defensively we have become better. But
yeah,
again, uh, we shouldn't get carried away. I would say for 4.5, yes, you'll get the points. I mean, he's not Trent who's supposed to return you every 10 pointer every week. You don't go with that expectations. The
yeah,
odd game or so, you will get your clean sheet, you will get an assist or so.
yeah,
Be happy with that. So
yeah,
that's what you'll get for 4.5. I think it's definitely a good
Yeah.
shot. And
yeah,
for
For me, it
viewers
is
who,
only.
okay,
yeah,
Sorry, go ahead.
no, I was just seeing that there are some comments about there's no Trent and all. We've not included Trent, Cancelo, DS, and all the big guys because that's very, very rhetorical question. You want them, you keep them, right?
yeah,
We just want to put
Exactly.
out a different set of players, not the same. Like even in the
yeah,
midfield and forward list, you won't see the obvious names. You just chop
yeah.
them out because they are obviously going to be there in your squad.
Yes. And regarding trend, it was an interesting question because for me, how I saw it was there's at least two Liverpool slots in Salah and Trent. Ideally, if you want to maximize your wild card, considering they're not playing well, you would want both of them out. But for the safety of them coming back in form soon, fear factor, you would at least have one out of the two. And considering the fixtures are tight for Liverpool in terms of clean sheet potential. That made me personally swing to Salah rather than Trent, because keeping Trent for the assist potential is good, but knowingly that there is no clean sheet potential in the next sort of 3-4 game weeks is going to be a tight, because I want to differentiate in my wild card, and I don't want to go back with the same, pretty much the same team before wild carding. So that's my thought process, but I definitely have planned it in a way that I have funds to get Trent back, because I have no doubt he's been again snubbed by Southgate, which is becoming a constant thing. So he will try to come back all guns blazing. So I have a route back.
Uh,
Yeah.
that is game week. Yeah, that's game week 12,
Yeah,
right?
game week 12. Yeah, exactly. So game week 12 is when I look to get back
Yeah.
Trent. So because my reasoning was the next few weeks till game week 12, clean sheet potential is just not there for Trent. Yeah. Suresh.
I mean, you pretty much summarized it. I
Yeah, yeah,
have the same thoughts.
yeah,
It's pretty obvious that you don't want a 7.5 million defender where you have the scope is very limited. They're going to
yeah,
meet some top teams,
yeah,
and the blank in game week 12 comes in a very sweet spot where you
yeah,
can move to the likes of Cancelo to Trent if required, so that
yeah,
you can leave out someone like Cancelo, or even you can upgrade someone like Reece James if things are not falling in place
yeah,
as we expect with Chelsea. So you have multiple routes to get someone like Trent back.
yeah.
So that's one way of getting him back.
Yes. Perfect. Yeah.
So I think we're done with defenders. Let's move on to midfielders. And just with regards to the prices, what we said, Trent is 7.4 and Malasi is 4.4. That's what I checked out now.
Yeah. Perfect.
Right.
So midfielders, yes, obviously the same names. We have Madison, Sterling, Zaha, Gordon from Everton, Leon Bailey, obviously a budget pick. I have added Luis Diaz for people who don't want Salah but want a Liverpool player.
Yeah.
And obviously we have Billing and Tavernier. I don't know why Surya heard that, so I want to ask him that.
Yeah. Yeah, just yeah, I'll get it started. So one name out of this list that's really interesting me is Sterling, because he could be a really good placeholder, very tempting, but you need to handle it properly. So yeah, I still don't have him in my draft, but just saying he could be a good 2 weeks punt before you go back to Salah in game week 12, 2-3 weeks punt. Yeah, covering a little bit more. The template from this week wildcard is Madison and Zaha. Both are very understandable. Madison is still firing in spite of Leicester being poor. Zaha has an incredible run of fixtures from game week 10 if you navigate the game week 9 game versus Chelsea. And considering he's an even more stronger option because he's not going to play at the World Cup. So I was looking at a lot of players that's not going to the World Cup. So Zaha is one that's evidently out. And regarding the other spots of Olise, SA, there's been a lot of rotations there. So Zaha's the one strong name from Palace on penalties as well. So Zaha and Madison, I think, are no brainers. There have been a lot of shouts for Barnes, but I have not had good experiences of Barnes personally ever in my FPL team. So I'm not going there. He's someone that's hot and cold, that goes hot and cold. He could come good again. Uh, Leicester could come up with a new formation, or Rogers could try something new, and they have a lot of strength in attack. There's Iheanacho, there's Daka, there's Vardy. There's so many names that could play in the attack. So Madison is a safer, still a great differential option, still owned less than by 10% of managers. So I would rather go with Madison, and I would definitely not double up. So that's my thinking on the Madison Barnes situation. The same with Zaha. Olise and Esse are good players, good with good potential, but you don't pick FPL players based on potential. You want points, and Zaha offers you points compared to Olise and Esse, who could still be rotated here and there. Gordon, I've seen in a lot of drafts, and I want to point out that he's on 4 yellow cards and one away from suspension. That's something I think a lot of people are missing or forgetting when they go to Everton. Of course, Everton have a very good run of fixtures, but Patterson's unknown injury update and Gordon's yellow card and probably Pickford's injury kind of changes things in the next few weeks. But there's not one strong choice to pick from. So regarding Bournemouth, I'll answer why Aditya, that I've added both of them. Though it's basically a case of fixture and confidence. I wouldn't say form for Bournemouth yet. They've not shown incredible fruit. Definitely, Scott Parker basically gave up on that squad, saying it cannot be improved or they need mass signings. But they still done really well after that drubbing against Liverpool. If you don't want Solanke and you want a differential option from there, they both are in the 5 million range, and Billings is at 5.3. He scored 2 goals. A decent amount of player that helped them massively in their promotion campaign last season. So yeah, that was the thought process behind Bournemouth. It could go wrong, but yeah, that's the fifth midfielder slot, I would say. Yeah. Suresh, any more thoughts on midfielders, ones that caught your eye, probably?
No, I mean that's pretty much summarized. The only factor I would probably want to tell is we've seen people getting rid of Arsenal assets for obvious reasons.
Yeah,
The fixtures are getting a bit tricky, and
yeah.
that goes without saying. But Martinelli is someone who has that value.
Mm,
If you are on a wild card, you might want to consider holding up to at least one Arsenal player. They have, yeah, of course, they have Tottenham and Liverpool, but they also have Leeds at game week 11. So probably during the game week 12 blank, maybe you can exit out of Arsenal completely, or you can make your choice over there. But I would probably suggest holding on to one of the Arsenal assets at least. And the other factor was Raheem Sterling, which you talked about. Again, someone who
yeah,
even I have personally liked in the past seasons as well. But the only problem for me is that where is he going to play for Potter? So that's something which
yeah,
we don't know exactly how he is going to settle in or how he is going to
yeah,
utilize him. So that is the only factor that is holding me up. Else, Sterling would be a great option for at least a punt for a couple of weeks at least. The other
yeah,
player
yeah,
probably we have not kept here for maybe their premium players is Sun.
yeah,
He
yeah,
got
yeah,
that confidence back. People who are still hesitant to go with the likes of Salah, probably you can
yeah,
have someone like Sun. They
yeah,
have three good fixtures. The derby is usually, at times it could turn up as an high-scoring game. I've listened to some of the Arsenal and Spurs fans. Most of them expect goals out of this game, and they have Brighton and Everton in game week 10 and
yeah,
11, so which possibly result in a good punt, similarly to what you're gambling on Sterling. So
yeah,
then you can jump on to someone like Salah if
yeah,
we see that form getting improved and stuff. So only these are the additional players that I want. And other than that, I think pretty much you have summarized
yeah.
the list of players that we have.
Yeah, it's also interesting, Suresh, because game week 9 and 10, if you look, Arsenal and sorry, Spurs and Liverpool play the same teams in the opposite order. So it's Brighton and Arsenal for Liverpool, Arsenal and Brighton. So it's a case of whether you go with Son and then switch to Salah, or you go with Salah directly from the beginning. So that is what I looked in before picking my team, because Son was again he's again banked goals for South Korea as well in the international break. He's clearly back in form. So I think, as you mentioned before, it's just one good game for these big players to get back into their groove. So it's that point that you want to address. So should you want to go with Salah directly, or because the game week 11 fixture could be the differentiator, because Spurs play Everton that week, and I think Liverpool play City there. So yeah, that's kind of the 3 week when you look at a block in a block fashion. So do
Yep.
Salah offer more points there, or do you think Son, although those for those 3 game weeks, and then using that one transfer to go back to Salah works? So yeah, that's what how I saw the situation, and I'm still not frankly sold over that. I could go back to Son as well in my wildcard draft, but let's see. Yeah,
I think we pretty much in the same dilemma.
Yeah.
We might end up with the
Same
same
team.
team as well.
Yeah, could happen. Could happen. Yeah. Yes.
Yes, so yeah, I see a comment about Luis Diaz as they will be playing up till Thursday morning.
Yeah.
Yes, that is a concern. I think when Jota is back, he did score in the Nations League. Firmino is also there.
Yeah.
Nunes
Yeah.
also
Yeah.
is back.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the price you will pay for confusion there. But that is if you
Yeah.
don't
I
want
think.
Salah. Or let's just go with Salah
Yes.
because Salah is back. He's not playing one game, so I think he's back.
Yeah, yeah, he
So
came
yeah,
back early as well. I think Liverpool are slowly recovering from their injury crisis as well because Thiago's back and slowly the attack is also looking at full strength. So can't never write them off early. So let's see how it goes with them. Yeah.
yes. So let's move to the next category and the final one that are the forwards. And yeah, the same name Mitrovic, Ivan Tony, Watkins, a bit of differentials for those who want to target Villa
There's
players and
one
get
name
called
which I'm
out.
going to hold Surya accountable in this. Let's see.
Yeah, so we have a very interesting name at number four, uh, Dominic Solanke, and then we
Yeah.
have the Nottingham Forest forwards, Johnson and Awoni. So yeah, Surya.
Yeah, yes. I think in terms of Solanke, the thought process is that again, not I wouldn't say they are in form. They have had a good morale boost. I would say they are in a decent shape as a team, and they have got the fixtures. And for me, it is a bit of a problem for me because of my poor team value. I didn't have Martinelli for a period, so Martinelli ate up a lot of team value now that I brought him back. So I couldn't do a triple up of say Tooney, Mitrovic, and Haaland. So that probably made me look for options less than that 6 million range, which of course Solanke is the one that's been the FPL Twitter darling over the last 3 4 days. Yeah, he's got the fixtures, but the main concern with Solanke is stats are not there. Stats are definitely not there compared to the big boys like say Mitrovic or Tony. There's no big chance for him still. They've create Bono the creating less, so that's there's all that concerns that come with him, and also the exit option from Solanke. Who will you move on from Solanke when Bournemouth's fixture turn in game week 13? That's a question that I don't have an answer still. You will have to make money elsewhere and then upgrade him.
Yeah, I think that's a main concern even I have with
Yeah,
Solanke. As you rightly mentioned, the exit route is not available. You have to always have that, money in the bank, or you have to depend on two transfers to upgrade him.
yeah,
So that's going to be the
yeah,
major challenge. Apart from that, it's pretty obvious that Solanke is the
yeah,
decision of Twitter going crazy on Solanke. There is no backing of data, literally no backing of
yeah,
data.
yeah,
Not the Bournemouth is literally on the bottom for
yeah,
attacking
yeah,
stats.
yeah,
So
yeah,
I don't think unless you are, as you rightly mentioned, if you are short of funds and if you are short of the team value is very low, probably then yes, there are
yeah,
some pretty good fixtures. Maybe you can hope for you know at least a couple of attacking returns in a stretch of 4 to 5 games, let's say.
yeah,
For that value, yes, you could be happy. You can spend that money wisely elsewhere. But
yeah.
if not, I think it's pretty obvious you stick with the likes of Mitrovic or Tony.
Yeah, yeah, exactly. And I just as when Suresh was mentioning stats, I moved to this page just to show that Solanke is nowhere near the scene in terms of forwards only at least. But the two Forest boys actually caught my eye. Johnson, Avoni. So and Avoni is again another great value option there, pretty much the same price, and he's matched Johnson, even though he's played considerably lesser amount of minutes because he didn't start the first few games at least, and he's even outscored Johnson in terms of XG, even though Johnson has the penalties. So an ultra uber differential option in terms of assets in the third striker spot could be one of the Forest forwards. It's just going to be a uh, punt position because that third striker spot could be your differentiator in a big time. You go there, and because the likes of teams like Bournemouth or even Forest, they're not gonna score heavily, score freely. So it's going to be those one or two goal getters that's going to be there in the bonus points as well. So say 8 pointer from someone like Solanke is a very big return for his price range. So that's how I see it. Even with yeah, I can. There's been a few comments saying Solanke didn't play a bit and he doesn't do justice for stats because of lack of games. So in terms of stats, yeah, I'm not. We're not just deep diving in terms of his personal stats alone. It's just Bournemouth's attack altogether as well. They're not creating enough big chances for him. So that's one thing, but that could change obviously considering they're playing the easier teams in the upcoming week. So it's going to be a punty spot that third striker plays. The the Forest guys or even Solanke, for instance, could be a good option. And I have Solanke as well in my team, and I hope he scores because I have literally no way to get in Tooney as well, who's again a good option. Yeah. Suresh, I want to talk to you about Tooney because you have him and the fixtures maybe here and there, but what's that thought on Tooney? Yeah.
I think probably currently I have him because I sold Isaac. It was Isaac earlier, so
Yeah.
it's a kind of the obvious choice that I have to make, selling Isaac and getting in someone in a similar price bracket.
Yeah.
But yeah, primarily better team in terms of overall attacking and reasonable fixtures. These were the two. And the third aspect is he's on pens as well. So
Yeah.
that's
Yeah.
one added advantage. If you have the likes of Tony and Mitro, you get two strikers who
Yeah.
are reasonably playing well
Yeah.
for a mid-tier team. They are playing well. The team is playing well. So I think adding penalties to each of these strikers is an added advantage. I'm
Yeah.
not
Yeah.
putting off players like Solanke. Particularly, I see the comments IBK pointing out as well. Yes, there are favorable fixtures, but let's give him time.
Yeah.
I'm
Yeah.
not
Of course.
denying that he could come good. The
Yeah.
team could come good.
Yeah. Yeah. Yeah.
I've listened to a bunch of Bournemouth fans as well, or read a couple of articles. He is going to be their star
Main
man.
man. Yeah.
Yeah, definitely. But at this point of time, for me, the factors that I put in are how do I exit out of him if in
Yeah. Yeah.
case
Yeah.
the drought continues.
Yeah.
That is the only challenge that I have. If I
Yes.
have to
Yes.
upgrade to someone, so where do I find that value? So that was my concern. But yeah, if you are willing to take that and spend that money elsewhere, if you want to bring up Trent straight away, if that gives
Yeah.
the amount that you want to spend, why
Yeah.
not?
Obviously, yeah. To sum up, I think, yeah, the third spot could again, I repeat, it could be an option where you can play around, you can go with your gut, and if you feel Solanke could could do a good amount of returns in the next 3 4 weeks, then go for it. Just then the exit plan would naturally come because you will be selling him at a profit, and you could go for other options that emerge as well. Yeah, so that's a fair enough conclusion for the forwards. Yeah.
No,
So
just
yes, I
in case,
think
I just want to let know, just in case if I'm getting IBK, sorry, just in case if I'm getting Solanke, if
Yeah.
things don't go wrong, I'll blame it on IBK. Just want to let him know.
Yeah, yeah. Okay. So, yeah.
yeah. So Solanki, yeah, I mean fixtures do look good. You need. I mean, this is the time you need to take one. There's no other option in that price
Yeah,
bracket.
yeah,
But it
yeah.
shouldn't end up being the case like you transfer Solanke out in game week 12 and then he scores a goal in game week 13. So we've been trolled a lot in the past.
Yeah, that's
It
bound to
just
happen. So, yeah. Let's yeah.
yeah, yeah. So I think he'll justify something based on the
Yes.
fixtures.
Yes.
Yeah. So yeah. So we're done with next. We'll move on to I think your questions from Instagram. We'll also cover up the questions that has been posted in the chat. So first we'll go to
Yes.
the slide and then we'll go to
Yeah.
the live chat.
Perfect. Yeah.
So Captain Sterling, we'll just keep captaincy towards the end of it. Front line template, Mitro, Haaland, and yeah, we did say it is either Solanke or you go with Tony or you
Tony,
go
yeah.
with the Nottingham Forest guys. So I think
Yeah.
that's pretty much something.
Yes.
Or Kane, or Kane, if you
Yeah,
want to
that's
switch
what
the first.
Kane again evokes that moving away from Salah or that premium in midfield. And if you want to get back Salah, then it's going to be a huge few transfers involved there to downgrade again one of Kane or Haaland. Of course, Haaland you wouldn't want to move away, so that's going to be a bit of a complex situation there. So I think yeah, it's Mitro Haaland, Tooney slash Solanke, at least from what we've discussed. Yeah, yes.
Uh, Next one we have is KDB or Huminson in place of Pawan.
Uh,
In place of
I would
Bowen.
go
Wow.
Son. Yeah, I would go
Yeah, even
Son.
I same. Even I would go Son.
Yeah, lot more explosive than KDB, and he's in form. So why not give it a shot in with Son? KDB of course gives you the guarantee of returns, but Son could go berserk, and he's shown form. So both of us would go for Son. Yeah,
Yeah, so even I would kind of say the same thing. If you have Haaland, you go with Son.
yeah.
If you have Kane and Haaland, then I think you go with Sterling.
Okay.
I
Yeah,
give you a different option.
that's a fair enough good suggestion. Yeah. uh,
So Isak keep or sell, he's out for a few weeks, I think.
yeah, so it's
So
definitely a
It's a
sale.
easy
Yeah,
sell.
it's
Yeah.
a
easy
sell.
sale. Yeah. Will
Uh, what's your view on playing Kane instead of Salah alongside Haaland?
yeah. I think that just continuing on what I said before, it's that exit plan that you have for Kane is going to be a problem because if you want Salah back or if you want a premium midfielder back, say Son is firing a lot in spite of the tricky fixture, then you would have to at least downgrade Kane to another budget striker and then use another transfer to improve one of your cheap price midfielders. So there's two transfers involved there. Is that worth is a question that you need to answer yourself, then decide if Kane is worthy or not. Again, Kane is also known to score freely in the North London Derby, especially. So, yeah, it ultimately boils down to your own choice there. So, yeah, it's
It's a
the.
structure thing, as
Mhm.
Surya pointed out. It's a structure thing.
Yeah,
Basically, you want to decide when you're making such a high premium change, from Salah to Kane. It is a structurally you're going to have Allen and Kane, so obviously you're going to have reduced, mid-priced midfielders, obviously. So that's the thing you want to answer first. Whether you're ready for that structural change. If yes, yeah, why not? Go ahead. The only caveat, as Surya mentioned, yes, it's a high score. It could be an high scoring game. Usually, the derbies they play really well, but there is a factor of caution amongst the Spurs fans. I was listening to a couple of other pods as well. So there's a bit of caution on Conte's approach of all these big games, or
Mhm.
how he wants to be caution first, defense first, and then try and attack.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that could going to prove a vital point, at least in this particular game week, and it's an away game as well. So that could be an you know additional factor.
Yeah, yes, that's fairly summarized there. The last one here, Emerson get game time. He would get, but he's not a guaranteed starter there. So not very if they play five at the backs. Creswell is playing one of the left center back roles, and then Emerson is playing in the wing back role. But you don't know if he starts every week, so he's not an asset that I would suggest on a wild card or even as a transfer. Same with Patterson. Patterson's injury is not still known. It's been told that it's not serious, but is he back right away for game week 11? So, and that probably leaves with Neko Williams. He does this job, his functional job as a 4.1 million defender. So yeah, that answers that question. So
Yeah, so I'm going to start pinning a couple of questions from the
yeah, yeah,
chat. So
go
we'll
for it,
go
go for
right
it.
through the top. So
Yeah,
this one, I think the questions that we have covered and we have given a concrete answer, I'll just go through them very quickly.
yeah,
And if you
perfect.
guys want to add in something, please add to it.
Yeah,
So this was one of them, Isaac replacement. We did end up with Tony as the best option for that particular price bracket.
yeah,
Solanke is a lower option, or you have Mitrovic somewhere and then Forest players. So that is we've pretty much said the same thing.
Yeah.
And this another one here which I'm going to go through. So this is the final three spots on wildcard. Solanke, Son, Trent is one. Salah, Dalot, Tony, and Sterling, Tony, and Trent. So we need to pick one option that looks better on three here.
This this is tricky. I would probably go option one, probably contradicting myself, picking Solanke here. But I like the other two options, Sun and Trent. You can move from Sun to Salah if required in a couple of weeks' time if you plan your funds accordingly. Solanke probably you're cutting down the funds in order to get Trent. So in that aspect, probably I would rather pick option one here.
Yeah, I think I would do one as well. Yeah, same thought process behind that. Yeah.
Yeah, so that is answered. So let's go on quickly to the next one. Those one of the thoughts on Barnes and Medicine. We did say that Medicine is probably the best shout.
Yeah,
So
yeah.
that is done. And I'm just searching for another ones over here. Mm, yeah, this is the another one.
Mm.
So the game week 9 movers from Kudagan to Madison, game week 10 is Martinelli to Zaha, 11 is Cancelo to Kukureya, game week 12 is Jesus to that's complete roadmap planned out.
I think that's yeah. I think it's a good plan. Of you might have to look back in game week 11 and then see regarding what to do there, and then decide on the game week 13 wildcard. But these two moves look good. Yeah, these moves look fair enough good, because Matters in game week 9 has Forest, and you can dodge Zaha as well from the Chelsea fixture in game week 9. So that is again a very good transfer. Cancelo to Kukurela in game week 11. That is what that might still I'm not sure about. Yeah, and Jesus to Jota Darwin. Yeah, that Liverpool attack slot should also be. We would have more information there. Yeah, so a proper move, but we might have to reassess at game week 11. Yeah.
Yes, I'm going to pin the next one in case I've missed out. Hopefully not. Is actually going to be Toy Story for Hope or is KDB blah blah blah? That's a big question.
It's,
Too
I
many
mean,
things.
Jesus, yeah, Jesus is one yellow card away from a suspension. That's
Yeah.
for sure. I'm not sure on Isaac. Anyway, Isaac is
Out. Yeah.
out injured, so that's not even an option. Two Mitrovic and
Mitrovic
Tony for a
again
4 point
played.
hit.
Hmm. I would just transfer out Isaac to maybe Tone and not take the hit at all.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah,
Stick with
that's
Jesus and
that's
I,
a
I
good
KDB.
would
suggestion. Yeah,
I
that's
would
a good.
stick I would stick that to that as well because Jesus is not a bad option. Just
Yeah.
because we are on wildcard, probably we're trimming down the Arsenal
Yeah.
exposure, but otherwise it's a good option. KDB, we spoke offline as well. He has a pretty good record against United, so yeah.
That's done. Next one is selling Jesus for a hit if wildcard 13 is planned. Yeah, so even I am mostly on wildcard 13 boat, but I am not going to sell him out. I mean for a hit, no. I mean this is not the time we take hits and we lose our places.
Yeah, I think that's again we constantly kept saying it's going to be a high scoring North London derby. That's what's expected as well. And Jesus could come away with the goal, and if you remove him for a hit, that's gonna cause you problems, because you're not only removing a player that's scoring, and you're also potentially have to look at a player that will also score. So yeah, I think for a hit you could probably continue. Uh, Martinelli is also known to do well in big games. Arsenal in general have been confident, have gone and attacked big teams. So I wouldn't be too worried just because that lot are on wild card. That's the reason that they are moving away from one of the Arsenal attackers. But for a hit, I think I wouldn't. Yeah. I would just go to the next one. Yeah.
Yes, so people transferred out Jesus in game week 8 and he did score. So yeah, just think before what you want to do. Especially
Yeah.
for a hit, don't do it.
Yeah,
But if you're on a wild card, yes, I mean you need to justify using the
the
wild card,
wild
right?
card.
So
Yeah,
you'll be
exactly.
obviously doing that
Exactly.
move.
Yeah, yeah. Yeah,
And there's one
Rooney.
here. Some
Yeah,
Tuni going up tonight. Uh,
to
okay,
get or wait
get.
for. I think if you really want him, then go for him because there's not going to be nothing that's going to change from now till the press conference at least because he's not playing for England. He's called, but he's not playing. So yeah, I think you go for him. Just save that point one again in team value rather than wait and then see because there's not going to be a lot of change. Isaac is known to be out, so it's not like the press conference would tell Isaac is back. So yeah, I would go for him right away. Yeah, and
Um,
Wilson, yeah,
I doubt if Wilson is back.
yeah. I think we'll have to
Yeah,
wait.
We
he's
need to
close
wait.
to back, but I
He's
don't think
back, yes,
they
yeah.
would rush him. Yeah, I
Yeah,
don't think
yeah, yeah.
they're gonna rush him.
Yeah, that's what the report said yesterday. He's back, but they're going to try preserve him and protect him as
Yeah,
much as possible.
best to wait for the press conference
Yeah,
with
yeah,
the
yeah.
likes
In
of
terms of Wilson, yeah.
Wilson and all.
And there was
Bamford,
something
in
about
terms
Bamford, yes.
yeah, in terms of Bamford, that's the point that I wanted to say. Leeds, Brighton, and Palace have been few of the teams that's not played in a long, long time because they're not involved in Europe as well. But the big six that missed played in between, but Bamford is not played for a long time, and we wouldn't know even Rodrigo could be available. We'll have to wait and see. He said 3 4 weeks time, and then it's already 3 4 weeks time. So Leeds could be in full strength, but also could not played for a while. I would say at least give them 1 or 2 more weeks and then go back to Bamford and see. There's a lot of factors. His minutes is not known. He's just again another injury prone player that's recovering from another injury. So yeah, that's lot of factors, and you have ready set options in like Mitrovic, Tooney, Solanke. So why risk that spot? Probably going for Daka, Bamford, Wilson, whose minutes are not known. Yeah, I would look at it that way. Yeah,
Yeah, even I kind of agree with that. So yeah,
yeah.
that I think kind of sums up all the questions we've covered up most.
Yes, yes, yes.
We'll go on to the next segment that is Surya and Suresh's wildcard draft. So I think first is Suresh's wildcard draft,
Yeah, yeah,
and you can just quickly go through it very quickly.
yeah.
The players.
Yeah, sure. Yeah, I mean, of course, subject to change, probably at least 3 4 slots. But I've got Gaeta and goal, Gaeta and Emerson, James, Williams, Cancelo, Trippier, and Castagna as my back five. Martinelli, Zaha, Madison, Salah, and Andres Pereira. Mitrovic, Tony, and Haaland. So this is the current draft that I have. Uh, Obviously, there's going to be few changes, things that I might want to change and stuff. So pretty some of the moves are pretty obvious. The front three goes without a saying that's going to be the most common one, I would say. Martinelli, I find that he's someone who's outperforming for his value.
Yeah.
I got him at the very beginning of the season, so I don't see a reason why I should sell him
Yeah.
at this juncture. Probably I'll give a game or two and then we'll think about it. Zaha and Madison is something which I'm taking a punt, with the fixtures and to come. And Madison is getting a little bit of form, but still,
Yeah.
as a team, they are far from what they have to be. So Zaha, I have a very historically he has burned me like anything. Not
Mhm.
once or twice, but I think
Mhm.
3 or 4 times that I've
This,
picked Zaha. He has killed me like anything.
this
So
the time, bro.
I'm just hoping.
It's
I'm
happening.
just
It's happening
hoping.
this time.
Yeah, seriously, I need some luck with Zaha. So
Zaha.
hopefully
Yeah.
that works out. Yeah,
Yeah.
and Castagna, I think we talked in length
Yeah.
why I'm going Castagna.
Yeah.
So some of the key decisions is going to be whether I'm going to retain Salah or
Mm.
whether I'm going to bring in Trent. So the Liverpool slots and probably a few minor changes. Apart from that, I don't think it's going to be anything overall kind of thing.
Yes. Now to the carbon coffee that is fine. Yeah. So yeah, it's a pretty similar draft to that of Suresh. So what I'll do is I'll probably say which questions that I would probably still not locked in. So my dilemma is the Trippier Pope double up. Should I downgrade Pope to a 4.5 keeper, or should I downgrade Trippier to a 4.3, 4.4, 4.5 defender, and then have funds in the bank to either keep it to upgrade to Trent if needed, or upgrade Solanke somehow to Tooney, and make sure my draft is same as Suresh in the in the end. Because yeah, I think except for Gui, I don't see a lot of changes there. Martinelli is an again a question for me, because I didn't have him. I had started with Saka and I persisted with him till game week 8, and it kind of matched out in the end, but not in terms of team value, because Saka lost point 0.2 and Martinelli gained point 0.6. So that still is, I have no value tied with Martinelli. So that's a question that I'm still thinking. Maybe I could take a punt there with another player from that 6 million range, or should I just cut losses and have Martinelli itself? So yeah, Solanke, Martinelli, Trippier, and Pope are the four positions that I am still deciding on. Salah is someone that I'm pretty set on, because I have answered that Salah is a on question over the next 3 weeks. So that pretty much answers it. Tooney is the one that I really want, and I'm really trying to somehow fit, and hopefully it comes up. And it should be funny if I go Tooney and Suresh goes to Solanke before the before the end of it. So, but anyways, it could be branded as one from the stream had Solanke. So yeah, never mind that. Yeah, yeah,
That could
Yeah,
happen.
so
Let's see.
two wildcard.
yeah.
Oh God.
So
Okay,
Because
so
we
two
did the
wildcard.
same in the very beginning of the season. I think we did the same. I think you had Haaland
Haaland Kane, yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
I had
exactly,
Kane,
exactly. Yeah,
and we swapped
Alex,
it exactly.
yeah, Alex convinced the Haaland for you, and
Me to get
somehow I got over convinced and I sold. Yeah,
you and Kane. So let's see if
yeah,
that's happening.
yeah. Quickly addressing the captaincy. Yeah, it's as Varun pointed out, it's a very interesting week. Considering I have Salah first game for Brighton under the new manager, Madison is still a good shout. He's always good against the promoted teams. I saw a brilliant tweet that summarized his record against promoted teams. Haaland, of course. I'm still on Haaland, of course, for the EO fears and going with the mass. But Salah and Madison are definitely good shouts. Probably I'll see where Salah and Madison come out in the metrics. Of course, Haaland should top it, but if they are very close enough, it should tempt me personally. Yeah.
So I
Now,
think two similar wildcard drafts are done,
yeah.
barring few position changes. We'll go
Now
to
to the
my
poor
bus
man's
team.
bus team. Yeah.
So my bus team that is not a wildcard. We'll see
Uh,
the contrast, how close it is to the drafts. So here's mine on screen. Mine has a Raya in goal. Yeah,
yeah.
we did Speaky is also there. I have James, Trippier, Cancelo. Everybody kind of will have definitely the three defenders
Yeah.
here and there. I have Luis Diaz,
Yeah.
while I don't have Salah, so I'm hoping that kind of does well for me for the next 2 3 weeks. Martin Lily, everybody has him. I think most will include Madison. Yes, I got in Kulusevski last week, so I'll ship him out for Madison. And Aronson is someone who I've just got in 3 4 weeks back, and I have to keep him. And then obviously I have Haaland, Jesus, and Kane in the front three, and then the bench is pretty much the same. So yeah, so maybe I don't have Zaha, I don't have Ivan Tony, I don't have Mitrovic, Solanke, and those are the four changes here and there.
No big deal.
And
Yeah, I
no
Seriously,
think
big
it's
deal.
a fair enough good draft, very close to a wild card
exactly
draft.
the wild card is.
Yeah, yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah, imagine if Arsenal and City play, and then all this Zaha and Leicester and all the choke.
No,
So
yeah, it's basically if the North London Derby is high scoring, then there is a very good chance
We're
that they
screwed.
outscore both of us, and I will not come for the next stream, so I'll escape. Yeah, so that's how I see it happening. Yeah, pretty well cut. And even Suresh pointed out Raya when he discussed keeper, so he's again not a very bad option. Yeah, if Solanke blanks and Raya keeps a clean sheet, that goes another 6 pointer to you there. So yeah, so let's wait and watch. But definitely, I would say you can wait and wildcard later than wildcarding right away. You have covered most of the this thing. And yeah, please tell me that Diaz was a mistake rather than you have
It's
may
just a
have.
placeholder. It's just a
Yeah,
placeholder. I thought that's Salah. So
yeah.
no,
It's
no,
just it's
no,
just
no.
on
It's
it.
just a placeholder. While switching, I forgot to switch the
Yeah,
captaincy.
okay.
So please don't take it seriously in a literal
Yeah,
sense. Then DS will end up getting pension. I'll get 2 pointers. So
yeah,
that
perfect.
cannot happen. So I think we've covered all the questions here and there, or most of the content we have covered. Players to pick, the fixture swings, the transfer trends, our drafts, and a brief captaincy thing. Not a concrete answer, but we'll wait for the metrics. So yeah, that does bring us to the end of this episode 12.
Yeah.
Unless you guys want to add in something before we wrap up.
I think I'm good. I think we had a good discussion. I think
Yeah, pretty good discussion. I think, yeah, uh,
I'm a lot
you
more
know,
confident on my wild card, and I'm also a lot more confident I'll end up with the same draft as Suresh in a few days. That's okay. Yeah.
Suresh,
we'll
don't
see.
post your draft. Don't post your latest draft. I want to see what Surya does. Post it after the deadline.
Yeah. Mm. Okay,
Definitely, yeah.
so yeah.
Yeah, so yeah, that does bring us to the end of episode 12 of the Allaboutfpl podcast or stream. Those who are listening to us on the audio platforms as Apple Podcasts and Spotify, do drop us a rating and a comment. And those who are watching on YouTube, do drop us a like and subscribe. And yeah, we will be back next week after game week 9. We'll see how the wildcard picture ends up going. Wildcarders versus non-wildcarders, and yeah, we'll look at game week 10 and the weeks going
Yeah.
ahead. So that's it, guys. Thanks for
Yeah.
joining us, and yeah, we'll see you all next time.
You. Bye
Thanks,
bye.
everyone. Cheers,
See you.
guys.